financial advisors, planning for life. Wealthway Financial Advisors, planning for life.
And good evening, Hampton Roads. Welcome to another edition of Dollars and Common Sense, your local source for objective, unbiased financial advice. I'm your host, certified financial planner Kevin Zivna, coming to you live like I do every second and fourth Tuesday to dialogue with you, take your calls. If you have a question or comment relating to your own personal financial situation or anything I'm talking about here tonight, jump on the phone lines. Give me a call, 627-7979. All we need is your first name, city you're calling from, and no matter what I'm talking about, if it's important to you, then it's important to me. We'll get you right on air, 627-7979. Wealthway Financial Advisors is the proud sponsor of Dollars and Common Sense. We are an independent registered investment advisor, which means we're legally held to a fiduciary standard to put our clients' interest ahead of our own in any business dealing or recommendation that we make. And that's the way it should be when you work with a financial advisor. As the premier financial planning firm in Hampton Roads, we integrate expert investment management with customized ongoing financial planning advice to help our clients answer life's big financial questions and enhance their quality of life. So by design, we can't work with everyone. We work with a relatively small group of high net worth individuals, but that's one of the reasons we feel so strongly about coming here every second and fourth Tuesday at 6 p.m. That's to reach out and help as many people in the Hampton Roads listening area that we can achieve your measure of financial success. Because it is a core belief at Wealthway Advisors that the overwhelming majority of people in this country have the opportunity for financial security if they choose it. And it is a choice because it takes some time, it takes some effort, and it takes some knowledge. We are here to help. You got to take that first step, though. Pick up the phone, give me a call, 627-7979. Whether you want to talk about anything having to do with the investment markets, the economy, insurance products like life insurance, health insurance, property casualty, taxes, tax planning, tax reduction strategies, retirement planning, retirement plans, 401ks, 403bs, TSPs, IRAs, Roth IRAs, mortgage options, Social Security claiming strategies, or estate planning, wills and trusts. All that and more falls under the umbrella of personal finance that we are here to discuss tonight. 627-7979. All right, tonight we're going to talk about charitable giving, giving with purpose, how charitable giving fits into a good, comprehensive financial plan. So, charitable giving is it's one of the most personal ways that people use their money, right? Because it kind of sits at the intersection of a variety of key components of our lives, intersection of our values, our family, tax planning, and for some people, their legacy, something that maybe will live on and endure even after they're gone. So there's a lot of emotion and strong feeling tied towards charitable giving. Yet many households give sort of in a reactive way, kind of just responding to requests, writing checks at year end, or donating randomly, and rarely stepping back to ask whether their giving is aligned with what really matters most to them. So tonight, we'll try to help some listeners think about giving in a more intentional way, right? The message will not be really about giving more or giving less to charity. It will be about giving with a purpose, because good charitable plan can help families be more generous, can help you feel more confident, make their giving more effective, and it can also reduce the natural friction, right, between generosity and financial security by hopefully showing you how giving fits into a comprehensive financial plan rather than competing with it. And I would definitely stress that good comprehensive financial planning should at least introduce the opportunity for charitable giving if that's important to you. So I'll try to show you how to blend the emotional side of giving with the practical side. And while the show is kind of about generosity, it's really more about giving structure, how to give in a way that is intentional. And it'll be about supporting causes people care about, but also understanding timing, tax treatment, family conversations, and ultimately long-term impact of giving. All right. So why do people give, and why they often don't plan really on how to give? Okay, so once you kind of grow past the small requests and donations, things like the year-end appeals from United Way, Red Cross, Heart Association, and hey, all those are great, worthy charities, and every dollar counts. You give $25 a year, that's fine, they'll take it. But once you kind of get past that, maybe as you get older, more things happen in your life, more causes become near to you, and your ability to give grows bigger as well. Then most people want to give for heartfelt reasons, right? You know, they care about their church or their school or a hospital. Or maybe a local charity that does good in their neighborhood, or supports a local cause that they are passionate about. That's the giving at that point is emotional, right? It's not just about getting a tax break. It's about trying to really make a difference. But the process around that giving is really, we find it can often be sort of haphazard and unplanned. And if people can be more intentional about their giving, they typically can give more and get better financial opportunity by that giving. So usually, the giving it never gets integrated into the rest of the plan. So then the result is that people may kind of still be generous, but they are often less intentional, less efficient, and less satisfied than they could be with their giving. So, giving more is not always the goal. Better alignment of the giving typically is. And some interesting stats around giving in the U.S. A study from Giving USA 2 years ago, which is like an industry trade group for charities. Americans gave approximately $558 billion to charity a few years ago in 2023. And individuals, as opposed to corporations, remain the largest source of charitable giving in the U.S. So, I think that speaks pretty highly of the U.S. population in general, that we are that charitably inclined as a group. And those stats matter because it shows that giving is not really a niche issue. It's not just for rich people, however you define rich. It really is mainstream household decisions. And when individuals drive most charitable giving, then the planning conversation does belong at the family level. It's not just, big business is going to take care of it, or the government is going to take care of everyone. It's more of a grassroots feel of, as I get older, as I care about more things, as my net worth grows, I want to make an impact that has meaning to me. So we'll jump into some of those giving values, priorities, some of the purposes when we come back from this short break. All right, you're listening to Dollars and Common Sense on News Talk 790 WNIS. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna.
Wealthway Financial Advisors, planning for life. Wealthway Financial Advisors, planning for life.
And welcome back to Dollars and Common Sense, your local source for objective, unbiased financial advice. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna, the president at Wealthway Financial Advisors, the premier financial planning firm in Hampton Roads, where we integrate expert investment management with customized, ongoing financial planning advice to help our clients answer life's big financial questions and enhance their quality of life. For more information about us, you can check us out online at wealthwayadvisors.com. All right, tonight we're talking about giving with a purpose, how charitable giving fits into good, comprehensive financial planning, and talk about aligning giving with values, priorities, and purpose. The most meaningful giving usually starts with clarity, with a sort of a decisive direction. So it's not just how much you give, but why do we give, and what kind of impact are we trying to have? So research has shown values-based giving often leads to greater satisfaction. So something that is meaningful to you, as opposed to just a random charity, which again is great. Any giving is good giving, as long as it goes to a legitimate 501c3 charity. And one thing you have to be careful of when you get into sort of more niche and obscure charities, not all of them are legit. So you got to do a little homework on those. But the big ones, of course, they're happy to take your money, and any donation is a good donation. But ultimately, when you give to an organization or a cause that aligns with your value, that's what makes people feel the best about giving. And families should decide kind of what categories matters most. So if you're going to give in meaningful amounts, having sort of a family direction on how we're going to give. So it doesn't necessarily have to be one particular institution or organization. It could be just faith-based. And so if a religion or your church or your synagogue is important to you, then by all means there. Or just it can be aligned with the religion in general, and it doesn't have to go to a particular church or entity. It could be faith-based causes as well. And then, of course, there's education. You can give to your school or your college if that's important to you, but it doesn't have to be that specific as well. It could go to educational causes, any sort of cause that helps promote education, especially in maybe underserved neighborhoods, is more impactful than giving to your alma mater that already has multi-billion-dollar endowment. All right, Health is another one, a good category to focus on there. Your community hospital, perhaps, or other caregiving facilities, other types of entities that provide health care, but maybe very specific health care that you were touched in your own life or your family was touched by some health event. Community-based charities, we got great ones here in Hampton Roads, the Hampton Roads Community Foundation, one of the largest ones in the region, but there are some smaller ones and targeted ones to each individual city. Well, there used to be. Some of them have merged, but you can even target some of the individual cities here in Hampton Roads. So community charities. And then, of course, family and legacy type giving can be ones that if your family has a particular cause that has maybe even been passed down from generations, continuing to support that cause is something that would be valuable as well. So children and grandchildren often learn values from how they see their parents and grandparents using money. So it's not just what is said around the dinner table or in private conversations. Parents and grandparents can model good giving behavior, and that trickles down to subsequent generations. So that in itself can be a gift, in that you model good charitable intent to your other younger family members, and then they pick up on that, and that helps them get interested in charity and charitable giving as well. Fidelity Charitable Research, a study that came from them recently, donors who define charitable goals and priorities often report higher satisfaction with their giving. So how does this translate into practice? Well, grandparents can begin inviting, say, grandchildren to help choose one annual family gift. So maybe grandparents say, okay, little Johnny, here's $1,000 that you have to direct to whatever charity that is near to your heart. And maybe let's go, what do you like? Well, I like animals, and specifically I like puppy dogs, right? And so maybe the SPCA is one of those charities that could be targeted. Maybe there's one that specifically works with rescue animals. Damien, you were just telling me about your wife's charity. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about that?
Yeah, she started a nonprofit, 501c3 for down in Carolina for wildlife animal rehab. So we get all sorts of animals, from possums and turtles and things that get hit in cars or lawn maintenance accidents, and the cat brought something in, and and then they go to a wildlife rehabber across northeast North Carolina.
Right. So what a fantastic idea, fantastic charity. Maybe it's to help wounded animals that through acts not of nature, more like mankind.
A lot of them. And something that we didn't, and there's other ways that something that we didn't take into consideration from the beginning is there's plenty of ways for people to help. It's not just one way of donating, but plenty of people go onto Amazon and go onto a wish list. So then they just buy direct from Amazon the goods that are needed to take care of these animals, and then those get brought right to the house. So there's no question about, because we all have those questions because we've heard about, different types of charities that aren't so charitable, across, and it becomes more and more of a numerous thing every time you search it up on the internet. But there are ways. There are still more of them out there that aren't scams. So it's good.
Yeah. Well, so thanks for that color, and that sounds like fabulous. And so there you go. Maybe little Johnny said, I want to help wounded animals recover successfully and be released into the wild again. So, look at that. See, there's all kinds of charities that you might not even think of that are out there that you might find a passion for that are near and dear to your hearts with a little exploration. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the practical side now. How to kind of marry the altruistic intent with some good money practices as well. How to give in a tax smart way without losing the heart of what you're trying to do. So for many families, charitable giving is both a values decision and it's a financial one too. It doesn't hurt that we get tax breaks for qualified charitable giving, but the tax side, should not control the giving decision. Don't give just to get a tax break, although that can be helpful, sort of an incentive to want to give more. But ultimately, you want to have a charitable intent first, and having some tax deductions for charitable contributions can help improve the efficiency of how the generosity is carried out and how much more that you might be able to give. So the point's not to turn giving into a cold calculation and a numbers-based decision. And we always say, don't let the tax tail wag the dog. The point is to avoid wasting opportunity, right? If a family's already charitable, then there may be just smarter ways to do what they already want to do. And there's several kind of misconceptions that flow from charitable giving and tax breaks and that type of thing. We sometimes get people who think that charitable deduction means the gift is free, or you hear some big bazillionaire has given significant sums to charity, and then people dismiss that as, oh well, he's just doing that for the tax break. He doesn't really care. No, I assure you, the tax deduction is not nearly enough to offset the major donations in most all cases. Another misconception: cash is always the simplest and best way to give. Right? Charities want money. They can turn around and spend it quickly on whatever their charitable activity is. No, charities more developed charities, even some small ones as well, have gotten much more sophisticated through the years, and there are a variety of different ways to give to charity. Damien mentioned one with like Amazon donations. I thought that was a great idea. I got some more creative ones coming up for you a little later. Some other misconceptions: tax smart giving is only for the ultra wealthy. No, we all can benefit from our charitable giving in a tax efficient manner. And another one: if I don't itemize, then tax planning around giving doesn't matter at all. Not necessarily true. Yes, if you itemize, charitable giving can be more valuable in some cases, but you can't say it just doesn't matter at all. There are definitely good reasons to give and better ways to give, even if you don't itemize. All right, so we're going to take a short break here for the news at the bottom of the hour. We'll be right back, and we'll talk more about the practical side of charitable giving when we come back. 627-7979 if you want to jump in on the conversation. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna. You're listening to Dollars and Common Sense on News Talk 790 WNIS.
Wealthway Financial Advisors, planning for life. Financial advisors, planning for life.
And welcome back to Dollars and Common Sense, your local source for objective, unbiased financial advice. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna, the president at Wealthway Financial Advisors, the premier financial planning firm in Hampton Roads, where we integrate expert investment management with customized, ongoing financial planning advice to help our clients answer life's big financial questions and enhance their quality of life. For more information about us, you can check us out online at wealthwayadvisors.com. Once there, you can request an information packet to find out what it's like to work with us, or sign up for a free quarterly newsletter at wealthwayadvisors.com. Just go to the Request a Consultation page, put your name and address in the dialog boxes there, select the appropriate drop-down menu, and we'll get that information out to you later on this week. And that's all we will use your name and address for, is just to send you the information that you request. Or if you have some nuanced questions, want to speak to a live human being, give us a call at the office, 456-2200. I want to remind everyone our next live show will be in 2 weeks on Tuesday, May 26th. But if you can't catch us live every second and fourth Tuesday a month at 6 p.m., get the show as a podcast. Search for Dollars and Common Sense wherever you get your podcasts. Download us, take us with you where you go, and listen at your convenience. And for those of you into social media, we have a presence on Facebook and LinkedIn. Search for Wealthway Financial Advisors. Hit that like or follow button. And once every week or two, we put up an interesting, informative financial planning post to keep you engaged in the process. All right. Tonight, we're talking about charitable giving, giving with a purpose, how charitable giving fits into good financial planning. I was talking about some of the ways that the financial benefits of donating to charities, and we would say that that's a secondary benefit, that you give because you want to give, because you want to help, because it aligns with your values, your purpose, what you want to maybe accomplish with your life, and what you would like to see accomplished in the world around you. But heck, we also want to give as efficiently, as tax efficiently as we can, so that we can maintain our financial security, and we can continue to give even more to charities if that's important to us as well. So at Wealthway, we encourage our clients who are charitably inclined to think about giving as part of their annual tax planning strategy. So the year-round tax planning strategy that we do with our clients, not as an afterthought around the holidays, in December, which a lot of people kind of just wait to do, and that's their trigger to say, oh yeah, that's right, I want to make some donations to charities that are meaningful to me. Well, when you do thoughtful, forward-looking financial planning, then you don't have to wait to the end of the year. You can do it throughout the year, and I can tell you the charities definitely appreciate that. So one of the tools, I'll talk about two particular strategies, just two. There are tons of them, depending on your unique financial circumstances. But two that we're seeing being used more prevalently nowadays from people of all walks of life. One is a donor-advised fund. And donor-advised funds are becoming more popular. They're moving a little bit more mainstream. You don't have to be quote-unquote rich to utilize a donor-advised fund, but it's sort of it's a separate account that you would open up with a qualified, typically custodian. So think of like Charles Schwab, Fidelity, Vanguard. All have a charitable division within their ranks there, and it's a separate account that you contribute money to this account, and the money that you contribute to the account is the tax deduction in the year in which you make the contribution. Usually, the minimum amount, it depends on the institution that runs the donor-advised fund, but usually a minimum you might see as around $25,000. But then the sky's the limit to how much you can put in there. So contribute sort of a meaningful amount to at least get it started, about $25,000, and you get a tax deduction for the money that goes into your donor-advised fund. And then you have an infinite amount of time on when to make the donations to the charities from the fund. Now, you do have to give a little each year, but you don't have to give it all. So each year you could make a meaningful contribution to the donor advised fund and allow it to build over time through the years. And the money in the fund, in the donor advised fund, can also be invested. So you can keep a meaningful amount, say in cash, that you want to donate to charities and invest the rest for long-term growth, so that your giving will ultimately have more long-term impact because it continues to build and grow through the years. So we love donor-advised funds for people who charitably inclined. Again, the money that goes into the donor-advised fund is your tax deduction. When you give it to a charity, you do not get the tax deduction because you got it when you contribute to the fund, but you can take your time and thoughtfully make donations to charities from the fund then. So if you're not really sure, you're like, I know I want to give, but I'm not sure exactly who I want to give to or how much, donor advised fund may be perfect for you. Now, contributions to a donor advised fund, you've got some flexibility with, like the timing matters. You especially in high income years, you get a big bonus, you make a lot of sales, your business does really well. Great time, and so you're running up the tax ladder. You're going to have a big tax bill. Great year to donate money to a donor advised fund and get that charitable donation. Another great technique that we see being used to fund donor advised funds is highly appreciated stock or stock with missing cost basis. Those are some of maybe the most tax efficient assets to give to a donor advised fund, or to some charities will take this stock in kind as well. So the idea here is, if hypothetically you bought Google at $1 a share, right, and through the splits, I know, it's like you got $100,000 of Google stock that you only paid $10,000 for, so there's like a $90,000 capital gain in it. Well, if you give the whole amount of that Google stock, you get a tax deduction for $100,000 its value, and you never have to pay the capital gain. Tax deduction for $100,000, no capital gains tax. Now you're really, leveraging your charitable giving. And we often find when we take on new clients, it's not uncommon that they sometimes come to us with individual stocks from companies that they might have inherited from their grandmother, or they bought when they were in college, and they have no idea what the cost basis is. The cost basis is the amount that you purchase the investment for, and if that gets lost or forgotten, or you have no idea what it is because of the way you received that stock, then donating the shares of that stock is a great way of getting a charitable donation without having to incur more large capital gains as well and pay the tax on those capital gains. So you avoid that very efficient way of donating to donor advised funds. So we love those in the right circumstances. Also, the other way that we see charitable giving being very successful is with QCDs, or qualified charitable distributions. QCDs, qualified charitable distributions from traditional IRAs for those who are age 70 and a half or older. So once you reach 70 and a half, you can give directly from your traditional IRA to a charity. And you can give up to $111,000 this year in 2026. And for those of you who are 73 or older this year and are now subject to required minimum distributions, you can give some or all of your required minimum distribution directly to a charity without taking it out. By not taking it out for your own purposes, if you took it out for your own purposes, you would have to pay income tax on the amount that came out at ordinary income tax rates, which are the highest. Then you get donated to charity. You may or may not get a charitable deduction depending on the amount. So taking it out and then donating it is less efficient than if you donate it directly from your IRA to the charity. You have to be, again, 70 and a half to do this. And if you are 73 or older, you can do that with your required minimum distribution and avoid taxation of that money. So a very tax-efficient way of giving as well. So we love those two options, wide applicability across all income levels. So having the ability to donate tax efficiently is a great opportunity. A family can support the same cause with the same generosity and still improve the efficiency of the gift by doing it this way. That means that more impact for the charity and better tax treatment for you as well. So that's a win-win for everybody. We love those. Tax smart giving, kind of like choosing the best delivery route. The package still gets to the same destination, but it gets there faster and cheaper. So why not, right? That's what financial planning is all about. Okay, we're going to take our last break here. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. 627-7979. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna. You're listening to Dollars and Common Sense on News Talk 790 WNIS. Welcome back to Dollars and Common Sense, your local source for objective, unbiased financial advice. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna, the president at Wealthway Financial Advisors, the premier financial planning firm in Hampton Roads, where we integrate expert investment management with customized ongoing financial planning advice to help our clients answer life's big financial questions and enhance their quality of life. For more information about us, look us up online at wealthwayadvisors.com. Once there, you can get an information packet to find out what it's like to work with us, or sign up for a free quarterly newsletter at wealthwayadvisors.com. Just go to the request a consultation page, put your name and address in the dialog boxes, and select the appropriate drop-down menu. We'll get that information out to you later on this week, and that's all we will use your name and address for, is just to send you that information that you request. Okay, tonight we're talking about charitable giving. How about making giving part of the plan instead of an afterthought, right? One of the biggest shifts families can make is moving charitable giving from the margins, the outsides of the plan of let's see what's left over and then we'll give, maybe into the center of the plan. And now that doesn't mean giving dominates every decision. It means that kind of like the generosity is treated like any other important priority. It's intentional. It's that we want a vacation house. We want to take trips to Europe, and we also want to give a meaningful amount to our church or our hospital or something like that. So, some misconceptions we kind of hear around that, well, if we plan our giving, it becomes less sincere. No, I think that's the furthest from the truth, right? No, I think that's planning your giving is more sincere. It's making it intentional. Here's another one. If money's tight one year, giving has to disappear completely. Sometimes, okay. But if you plan forward enough, 2 or 3 years, typically, no, that's not the case. You can continue to give meaningful amounts if you plan for it and you structure things properly. And then giving and financial security are always competing goals. So I either got to give or I got to spend less on myself and my family. No, you can do both together. Generosity can coexist with prudence. And, a lot of it comes down to deciding whether giving comes from current cash flow, from investment assets, from required distributions from your IRA that I talked about earlier. So all that can be managed and massaged to allow you to meet your charitable goals as well as your own lifestyle goals. And some planning literature that's come out recently says the same thing. Households with intentional planning systems generally report greater clarity and less financial stress than households that handle major priorities reactively. And that's kind of what we do with our charitable giving. And to be fair, when you grow up, when you're young, you might give dribs and drabs, and then eventually your net worth grows to the point you're like, wow, you know what, I can start making some meaningful contributions, but you're still used to the habit, right, of waiting to the end of the year and kind of doing it with amounts that are quote unquote left over that you didn't intend to spend. Bring it into closer to the center of your financial life, and you can do this more intentionally. So lastly, I'd kind of just want to talk about maybe some really big giving ideas: legacy, family, long-term impact of generosity. So for many people, charitable giving is not just about today or this year, right? For some, it's about legacy. It's about what your money says about your values and who you were as a person long after you're gone, right? And this is where charitable giving becomes bigger than a tax deduction or just an annual habit. It becomes part of the story that a family tells about what mattered, what they stood for, how they wanted to be thought of, how they want their resources to be used. Some misconceptions we hear around this: well, legacy giving is only for wealthy families. No, not necessarily. Not if you start early enough, not if you structure your charitable giving properly. Mentioned donor advised fund earlier. That's one of the best vehicles for doing that, building a legacy. If I involve my children, then they might disagree with what I want to do or complicate things. I suppose that's possible. We've not seen it in practice. If anything, the children really, and we're talking adult children here now. Let's say you're in your 60s, 70s. Your adult children are in their 40s, 50s. They really appreciate being brought into the process and seeing the family money go to something really big and impactful and maybe world-changing in their little corner of the world. It's not going to change the entire world, of course. No one has the resources to do that. But you can make impacts. We all can make impacts in our little corner of the world. Another misconception: giving through an estate plan, it's too complex to think about now. Well, that's what the estate planning attorneys are for. And they are experts at helping people donate money, whether they're still living or after they pass away. They are experts at helping people set up vehicles and trusts and entities that will help you contribute significant amounts to charity while also being very tax efficient in the here and now. So legacy is more than about inheritance and just passing on to your kids or your family your wealth. You think about charities and how you can make a difference. Teach generosity while you're still alive. Don't wait to just do this through your estate plan and after you pass away. Do it while you're alive, where you see the good work that your money can generate as well, plus the lessons that you pass on to your kids and your grandkids. Charitable goals can help families define success more than your net worth. It's not always about maximizing net worth. It's about using your net worth to maximize your quality of life. The emotional benefit of knowing your money will support something you care about. And what a good feeling that is, right? So what we kind of see in real life, families often say they want to leave a legacy, but have never defined what that means. Does that mean more to your heirs? Does that mean more to charity? Is it a blend of both? What do you want your money to be used for? Children often understand financial inheritance better than the values that they inherit unless parents intentionally teach both. So, right, so that was kind of a little mouthful there, but the inheritors, your children, if those are the ones who are getting the money, everyone kind of understands, hey, I inherit a lot of money, now what do I get to do with it? Well, that's one thing, but how about the values that come with that money those kids inherit? If you're already charitably inclined and you pass those values along to the kids with the money, they can also continue to good and transfer your legacy onto subsequent generations. And plan giving conversations tend to be easier when they start from a mission and meaning rather than dry technical legal documents. All right, well, that's about all the time we're going to have for today. I've got a few closing thoughts here. Generosity with both heart and structure. Tax efficiency matters, but it should serve the mission, not replace it. It's not about the tax break. The tax break is the icing on the cake. Charitable giving belongs inside a smart financial plan, because values belong inside a smart financial plan. And good financial planning is not only about building wealth, it's also about what you support, what you value, and how intentionally you use your money to reflect the life that you want to live and the legacy you want to live. All right, we're out of time for tonight. Back in 2 weeks on Tuesday, May 26th. Until then, I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna. You've been listening to Dollars and Common Sense on News Talk 790 WNIS.